All right. Hello, everybody. It's Saturday. We're streaming today, and today is a craft day. So welcome. I'm Thermo, and I'll be streaming working on my Workshop Ruby. Workshop Ruby is that character that you see in the corner right there. She is a poster girl that you find in Fallout 4, and she's consistently seen in a few of the Fallout games. Fallout is a post-apocalyptic game that's I believe it's a Bethesda game, and it's a lot of fun. So for Yuma Con, I was hoping to have Workshop Ruby done. I might get her done by then. We'll see what happens. But I didn't expect that my bodysuit was going to come for. I'm using a lot of upcycled and purchased materials for this. My bodysuit for this one came out a lot darker of a blue, but it doesn't bother me because convention lighting is so bright that I don't mind that it's a darker blue. Um, and plus, my room's a little bit dark right now, so apologies. I tried to get as much light as possible, but it's Arizona, and the light from my window is creating this weird halo effect. But that's what happens. So right here, I'm using this bodysuit as the base. I plan on removing these little tags today. They're like these little, I think it's meant to be a belt for it because I actually have a cincher belt for Workshop Ruby. So I'll be seam ripping and removing these items. And then I also additionally want to try and sew on this really cool Ruby badge that I got for her. So I actually have a tag. And then I need to actually completely remove the zipper because Workshop Ruby zipper has red bias. So in order to add the bias to this section, I will have to remove. Plus, since my shoulders are a little bit bigger, I prefer to have a little bit more width in the chest area. Um, and I will most likely need to actually tailor in the legs. The legs for this bodysuit are actually kind of big. Sometimes that happens when you buy things. You run into issues where like legs are really big, but the body's small. I don't understand why the leg width is the same as the waist width. That is a little weird for a bodysuit, but a jean bodysuit is unusual. If we have time on top of all that, oh, sorry, that is, yeah. If we have time for more, then I will start adding bias onto things. But today it's just working on that. So we're going to get started. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat. Otherwise, welcome to the craft stream and thanks for joining us today. And I'm going to put on some music. You're probably not going to see me a lot. I was trying to angle it so you could see more of the sewing machine and what I was doing. For my bias, I have this bias left over from Safina that I plan to use. It's very thick. It's a double fold bias. So I can get it to be even thicker for her collar. So for the lining on the side, I think I'll keep this thickness. But for her collar, I kind of want to use the same fabric. So I'll probably need to iron this and double it up, but that will be another time. I may or may not get this done for Yuma Con. I mostly wanted to wear this for Fallout Goodsprings, which is happening in November this year in Goodsprings, Nevada. But I just realized it, like it's hidden by her picture, and it's fine. So we'll get started today. This is my sewing machine. I have a Singer sewing machine. I need to get my seam ripper because that's going to be a bulk of what we're working on today is seam ripping things. It seems to be like everything, anytime, let me see if I can lower my camera more. Anytime you're doing work with sewing, it always seems to be that you're having to seam rip. It's just a curse. I'm putting on a little bit of music. If you like it, cool. If you don't, just let me know. But today we're doing this. We are in seam ripping madness. Maybe I can lower my light and get it to be a little bit brighter right here for you guys. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Maybe if I put it, Moana, I need your help. I have like a little Moana thing here. There we go. That is a bit better. I'll put my music over here so it's not in the way. You guys can't see it because you only get to see Workshop Ruby right there, but seam ripping's hard. You have to get into these like little areas right in here, and it makes it super difficult to see sometimes. So maybe I can get the light to. There we go. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. It's warm here in Arizona. We had a little bit of cold, and then it just fall teased us and said it was coming and then vanished. So that's par for the course for Arizona. We usually get teased with good weather, then we have warm weather again, and then finally sometime second week of October we get warm weather again, or cold weather again, sorry. All right, so I've managed to get in. Usually when you're working with Gene, all you have to do is find the edge of where it was, and then it works really well. Oh, there we go. Let me turn up my music a little bit so you guys can hear more of it. There we go. All right, I've already got one part of it. Now I need to remove the second part. You guys have any events you're going to today? I know in Phoenix right now there's the Animation Expo. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, recommend checking that out. I believe it's like they're doing art and modeling and all kinds of really interesting things. I think it's at the Phoenix Convention Center, but I can't guarantee that. You'd probably have to check. It might be in the Mesa Convention Center, but it's the Arizona Animation Expo. So if you like animation or you like art, that is going on this weekend. Ouch, and I stabbed myself. All right, I have one buckle off. I need to make sure I didn't actually. One thing you have to do when you're seam ripping is making sure you didn't accidentally just stab through the whole fabric piece. Where's the rest of my zipper? Oh yeah, this is upside down. Okay, there we go. So it looks like I didn't damage. That's good. So I'll just need to pull off. You'll get little flyaways and they kind of stick out here. You can either burn them since it's jean fabric, or you can just trim them real fast with a pair of scissors. And then I also, sometimes when you've got something that's not made by you and they've made by a company, I always check to make sure that they didn't sew the belt to any other crucial part of the fabric, and it does not look like they did. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this next section right here. Can't believe we're only a few days away from October, the spooky season that everybody loves. Already seen some fun decorations. I gotta find, there's this one neighborhood where this guy has a pirate ship, and I need to find him this year. I really want to find the pirate ship person. That sounds awesome. He has little kids walk the plank to get their candy. I think that's great. All right. Well, this one might have sewn into the material, so I'll have to be careful. Thankfully, this is the waistband, and on the waistband, I plan on wearing a center belt. So this is just the perfect thickness to cover any roughness that might be caused by this. Also, I inadvertently almost matched these colors perfectly. They're really close, so that was good. The only thing that doesn't match right now is the hat. I haven't opened it yet because I have been busy, but it's a little bit light. So what I was thinking about doing is, since the bodysuit's so light or so dark, I'm thinking about, because this is a lot more fabric to try and bleach out, I'm probably just going to paint this with a leather paint and like a wash it with a leather paint that's blue to get it to be a little bit darker like this so that it matches better. I would rather do that than try to bleach wash an entire bodysuit, which is a lot more difficult. At least the fabric texture is nearly identical. I don't know why, because I ordered a darker hat to match the color of this bodysuit, knowing it was going to come in. I didn't know it was going to come in this dark, but I knew it was going to come in like a much darker blue. And this just did not. Yeah. Oh well, things happen. At least it's the right, and I still have to paint this red because the underside of her hat's red. So, and I still also have to. I had to insert some foam in here so that her hat, because her hat pops up, so I'll have some foam in here to keep it popped up like this. And then I'm going to paint the Red Rocket Truck Stop logo on there. All right, we have 2 belt pieces off. Let's keep going. All right, so I need to trim away any of the excess. Sometimes you can just pull the thread off, and sometimes you have to cut it. Some of this is embedded in with other pieces, so I need to cut it. And I also recommend whenever you're like removing something from jeans, also taking like what is it called? A lint roller, because sometimes the threads just really don't want to come off and you have to use a lint roller. All right, well, we've got this side of the belts taken off. That only took, what, 10 minutes? Let's get the other side of belts, and then maybe we can start actually removing the zipper, and then we could probably, before the end of stream, add all the red. And so we're going to make progress today. I have to change out my thread. I didn't realize I didn't do that, so you guys get to see me change out my thread. If you've ever changed the thread in your sewing machine before, it will be an educational experience. That is our hope. We hope that these craft streams give you ideas and help you out. If you have questions, let us know. We would be more than happy to answer them for you. I swear every time I craft, it's always me seam ripping something. If I have time, I am making a costume for UwU Con this year. It's going to be a really simple one. I'm doing Marcel from Delicious in Dungeon, and if time permits, I will also stream some sessions of that, but it depends on how my work-life balance ends up for the next month. Because my day job, while awesome, can be demanding sometimes. And because it's demanding in the daytime, it can wear me out, make it more difficult for me to stream in the evening. I've already committed to streaming some makeup, so in the month of October, I'll have 3 sessions of makeup demos. I'm going to demonstrate doing makeup for the Zabrak again, but this time a full stream and not just like a quick little reel. I'm going to do Beast Boy, and I was also going to do a ghoul from Fallout. I had a couple people request Ganon, but the problem with Ganon is he's green like Beast Boy, and he's considerably longer, more difficult, or she, because I made Ganon a she, and she's a lot more difficult to stream because I have to use an airbrush and brush makeup and powder, and Ganon's a lot of work. And I still am experimenting how to improve Ganon's makeup. Oh look, I just saw a little fuzzy float up. What do people call them? Spirit orbs? I know it's just a fuzzy though, because I have a cat. I have a white cat. So if you see spirit orbs, it's not spirit orbs. It is just my cat. Who is hiding right now? Which is good, because several times now he's tried to jump into the stream with me and sit on my sewing machine, which probably isn't the safest thing for a cat to do. All right, I almost have this one, and then we've pulled all the belts off, which is great. I don't really like the built-in belts in some of these like jean jumpsuits. They actually sit a little bit wrong, probably because of my height. They just sit at the wrong angle for me, and they're so uncomfortable. So actually, I would have removed this no matter what and added my own belt. Here we go. This is okay. So I found one thread. I talked about how sometimes the thread gets sewn into the jeans. This one's somehow fused, so I'm gonna have to be careful with this. I have one thread here that is on the cusp of, if I can just, there we go. Okay. Whew, that was close. I tore a little bit of one end, but it wasn't the main bodysuit. It was just the attachment, so that's good. Yeah, that's a tricky part of seam ripping is you have to be very careful to make sure you don't get this little sharp end. There's a really pointy end right here. You don't want it to go through your fabric or then you've created a weak point. And since this fabric has some rayon in it for stretch, oh, it will start fraying and that is never a good thing. I do work better with stretch material than non-stretch, but I am trying my best to teach myself more about non-stretch. I'm pretty good with leather, but leather's a different beast. It's more like a sculptural thing than anything else, which is very similar to how stretch fabric works. It's a good thing I still have to sweep my room today because I'm just dropping these threads on the ground. I haven't swept yet. My job is to sweep them off today. Okay. All right, so the belt on the middle of this is completely removed. So now I'm going to go ahead and start seam ripping the zipper out. So she kind of has a bit of a big, like her zipper is the head of her zipper is a little bit bigger than mine. I know you can replace these, so I do happen to have an old bodysuit that I'm going to see if maybe I can steal the larger ring suit off of it to make hers a bit bigger. But worst case scenario, I might not even use this zipper. I might need you buy a new zipper because her zipper is more of like a silver color. Let me see if I can show you guys. So hers has a bit more silver and has a much larger head there. So I think I might buy a new zipper, but we'll see. I have to remove the zipper no matter what. You know what? I don't know if I can salvage this zipper because they sewed it up into the collar. I might be able to seam rip the collar. I might have to remove the collar anyways because I need to use it as a pattern to create her red collar. And I don't want the collar to be too thick. So removing, this is why even if you buy something, I'm going to have to remove this entire collar to get it to lay the same as hers because hers is red and she has a double collar. So I'm going to have to create this and then add another little triangle at the end. It's a good thing I have red fabric left over. So yep, we're removing the collar too. And I'm going to try and keep it as intact as possible so that way I can use it as a pattern. Oh, the glory of using bot things and thinking I can do this and then realizing I'm going to have to take apart half of this. So I probably won't have this done by Yuma, but I'm pretty sure I'll have it done by, I know I'll have it done by Goodsprings. So that's a good thing. Oh man, this collar is fighting me on the seam rip. I just need to get into this. Come on. Just let me rip one little area right here. Come on. Watch me seam rip. Please. Please let me seam rip. I guess the good thing about doing this too is I'll be able to lower the zipper because her zipper doesn't come up as high. So this zipper comes like all the way up. Her zipper for Workshop Ruby ends like right below the breasts. They drew it to where you can see the zipper, but honestly that wouldn't work. So I might just get a shorter zipper with a big head on it and have it end right underneath the breast and then just exaggerate the collar. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's probably the best way for me to go about this. Now, I did workshop Ruby a long time ago, but I didn't, I kind of only sort of made her accurate. This time I'm trying to get a lot more accurate, just with darker jeans. I didn't think darker jeans would be a problem because in the Fallout universe, there's a lot of posters with people wearing like jean jumpsuits and stuff that are darker, so I figured it's okay if Workshop Ruby has a darker. Oh man, removing this color is a pain. Holy crap, okay. Yay! Like once I can get like one section, I can start pulling it apart. Aha! And then now I have access to the top of the zipper because I was mentioning that I prefer to salvage zippers and use them on other projects if I can. I don't like just cutting zippers out. I try to save everything I can and reuse it. One, because zippers are expensive, and two, because I want to reduce my carbon footprint if possible. Try to upcycle a lot of things. So look, you get to see raw edges. Like even made outfits have raw edges on the inside of things, because it doesn't make sense to finish something like this when it's going to be hidden underneath another section and secure. So at least I'll have like an outline of where I need to attach the collar. You can't see it on the video, but there's this thin line of threads. So that'll be useful. It's kind of warm in here today. What is the temperature outside? I'm very curious. What's the temperature today? Is it already at over 100? Oof. Okay. For those of you who aren't in the US, let's see here. Temperature right now is 108. So that would be in Celsius, 42 degrees, and it's September. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like Arizona. Oh, I'm removing the size tag because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to be modifying the snot out of this anyways. Alright, I'm almost all the way through to the end where that was really difficult to get the collar before. It shouldn't be too bad now. So when you have serged edges, they have like all of this, I don't know if you can see, but there's like all of this excess of thread and then it just gets wrapped around itself. It makes it really difficult to seam rip. So be careful if you are removing things from like factory or industrial made garments, because sergers create a lot of extra thread, and if you're not careful you might mistake some of that thread for the actual fabric. So make sure you're looking really close and you're not accidentally cutting into the fabric and not the thread. That's why I like to kind of hold a piece of the fabric and see the thread stick out. So I like hold it to where I can see the thread. Makes life just a little bit easier for me. So we remove the belts. We've almost got the collar removed. I use the collar as a pattern for the fabric. I'll make sure that I cover work in progress for this and take some photos so that if people have questions about how to, like, maybe you want to do your own workshop Ruby, but you don't want to like sew everything yourself, and then just make some minor modifications, I can show you how to do that. Sometimes making a costume from scratch is overwhelming, and for this, the cost of jean material was equivalent to me buying the jumpsuit. So I just bought the jumpsuit, especially because jean material that has stretch to it costs on average $2 to $3 more a yard than non-stretch jeans. I'm not sure why, but it does in my experience. So I have the collar removed now, so I will use this collar as a base, and then where it has here, she only has a single point. I'm going to draw, when I trace it onto my red fabric, I'll draw a second and then like kind of make the collar go a little bit down, a little bit lower. Okay. Now we need to remove the zipper. This is tricky. Zipper removal's not very fun or easy, and it's overwhelming. So we'll remove the zipper and see what happens. Hopefully I don't damage anything. And then I should be able to, the zipper hopefully goes fast, and then we can start sewing on the bias. And you can see how chaotic I am when it comes to applying bias. Most people, when they're applying bias, will clip it. I'm, like I said, chaotic, and I just attach and just go like a little maniac. It freaks people out. I don't care. Like, it is just how I am. For Ruby, she does have kind of a square. So what I'll probably need to do, so she has it square at the bottom, and since mine's not like that, what I'll probably need to do is just end and fold to create that square. So it'll require some finagling on my part to get that to work. But yeah, actually the zipper only has a single thread, so this this might go pretty fast. That's nice. It's nice when you get surprised and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not as horrible as I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, the problem with jean thread though is they usually have to make it a little bit thicker so that it gets through the jeans and doesn't snap. So it is dulling my seam ripper here a little bit faster than normal. Yes, your seam ripper can dull. It's really difficult to sharpen. You can. There's like little tools you can use. But I'd say, I mean, my seam ripper, this poor seam ripper is ancient. I really need to get a new one. This seam ripper is like 5 years old. A newer seam ripper would go through better. I don't know where my other seam ripper is. Do I have it in here? Maybe I have another seam ripper. I had a second one, but I've misplaced it is my problem. You know what? Let's see. Let's see if I have another seam ripper. Is it in here? No, there's no seam ripper in there. And check. These are pens, sewing needles, all kinds of sewing needles, even some hand sewing needles. You never know when you're going to need them. Oh, I did find my other seam ripper. Haha! This is the newer one. I should probably be using this one. Let's see if this seam ripper goes a little bit faster. Oh, this seam ripper is going so much faster. Oh my gosh. I should have changed seam rippers earlier. Ooh, this is much better. Oh, and I found the second thread. Okay, so this is a double threaded zipper. I was about to say I'm used to seeing anytime it's made with a company, like an industrial made zipper, like or industrial sewn zipper, I'm used to it seeing a surged point where it has double thread, and I just found it. So it does indeed have two threads here. Making progress. I think I'll still get through this fast enough to where I can start sewing on some of this, and I'll have to change out the bobbin and show you how that's done. Don't actually think I have a red bobbin threaded anyway, so I'll have to get my bobbin threaded. Usually I do this with my left hand. I might switch to my left hand here in a second once I switch to the other side. My left hand's a little bit more coordinated than my right hand. You might actually find when you start sewing more, if you start sewing more or crafting more, that your non-dominant hand is actually better than your dominant hand. I technically was left-handed and they made me go right-handed, and as an adult I've gone back to using more of my left hand again because it's more comfortable. I prefer my left hand over my right. And I can write with both hands anyways, so I don't know if I really have a dominant hand per se, as I just am ambidextrous now. Some of that because I was clumsy and broke my fingers a lot growing up. But you never know. Okay, this is going a little bit better. I'm almost at the end of the zipper here, and then I'll swap to the other side. But if you guys have questions, let me know. Otherwise, we're just gonna groove to the royalty-free music here. I don't know if you guys can hear that music. I can. I like it. Having a little bit of music always helps me focus on my task while sewing. Sewing's my least favorite part of cosplay. I prefer sculpting or painting or anything but sewing. But I'm at master level now, so I need to make everything, which sucks. Although I'm not competing in this. This is just for fun. This is just so I have more Fallout costumes because I am working more with the New Arizona Republic, which is a Fallout costume and prop group. I have Agent Macho from, I think she was from Fallout 3. I need to work on her, like building armor on the top of the custom bodysuit I bought. That custom bodysuit was like $140. It was worth it though. It's very nice, but ugh. And I had to add armor to it. And I have her. I also have the Vault Tech rep, both the normal version, and then I can turn it into a ghoul. I finally have a Vault 111 bodysuit now, and I wanted to reintroduce Workshop Ruby because I have the Inspector from Fallout 76, but the Inspector looks too much like the older version of Santana from DC Comics that people get really confused as to whether or not I'm a DC character or a Fallout character. And so I kind of want to move away from doing the Inspector and doing more of the recognized Fallout characters, since I'm trying to rep the group a little bit more while we've got some members who are going through some personal stuff. It's life, you know, things happen. So you guys gotta support one another. Um, switch hands here and make it easier. So, because this is just, this side's sewn differently than the other side was. That happens sometimes when you're like looking at zipper stuff. Sometimes one zipper's sewn a little, like one side of the zipper sewn a little different. This one is gonna be a little trickier to remove because it looks like when they were sewing it, their thread got caught. It's kind of weird. Like it's, I don't know. All right, I'm just gonna have to cut a crosswise to. Switching hands has made this easier. I will say, if you can become ambidextrous when cosplaying, I recommend it. If you can become ambidextrous while sewing in general, I recommend it because it makes life so much easier. There are some points where you really can't use your dominant hand. You gotta swap to another hand to figure it out, and yeah. All right. Anybody else have to do adult stuff today? After this, I have to clean my bathroom. Just some mopping, you know. Arizona's dusty. I gotta sweep and mop. Try to do it every once in a while, you know. It's technically every other week. I sweep every other day. That's how dusty it gets. I wonder if I can find. Well, I guess I don't have to find the zipper quite as long, so I'm gonna have to measure. I'm gonna have to put this on my body and measure how long of a zipper I want because I do want it to end just beneath my breast because I am gonna be wearing like a white undershirt like she's wearing over here. So I figure that's gonna happen. Why is this side being so tricky? The top is fine, but there's like there's something going on with the thread. Also, I need to wash this. It's leaving glue all over me, which means the dye was not sealed. So always check before wearing something, because this kind of dye, if getting all over your skin, can make you sick. So I will need to pre-wash this before I wear it. I always recommend anything you've bought, even if it's from like a mall or something, I recommend pre-washing, unless it specifically says they pre-washed it. Very few companies are pre-washing any of their jeans or clothing now, and there's a lot of chemicals that are left on them to keep like colors nice and stuff, and it can make you sick. I'm sadly one of those people that's sensitive to dyes, so I've had reactions, but I just recommend, just for safety and making sure it's okay, always pre-wash. Even if you can pre-wash fabric that you buy from places, because you don't know how many people have touched it or how long it's been on the shelf. It could have a lot of dust on it. I mean, it may not be as bad at places like Joann or Hobby Lobby or Mole Queen Fabrics, but anything like a SAS or a fabric warehouse that you see at like the fabric district in Los Angeles, those are places where you'd want to try to pre-wash your fabric. And if it's a fabric that can't be pre-washed, there are these what's called upholstery wipes that you can use. and I would recommend those. All right, we're almost done with the zipper, and then we can add bias. Okay, come on, zipper. Just get off of my thing. So close to being at the end of the zipper. All right, we're getting to the point where the serger ended, so I'm about to get a lot of knotting in the threads. So I'm going to need to zoom in on my eyeballs here, get real close. So if my head's in the way, I'm sorry. Oh, see? And now it's got like a pull thread, so I need to be careful. I need to cut this because I don't want it to cause a... There we go. All right. We have removed the zipper. This is a long zipper. All right, zipper's removed. So now let's get the let's go ahead and get the sewing machine prepped before I do this. And then also I need to, before I sew bias into the arms, I have bigger biceps. What I might have to do is lower the sleeve, and so I'll do the sleeve bias later because my biceps are a little bigger and I might have problems. I might have to add a different fabric for that. All right, so let's get in here. Keep the machine off. And I'm getting an empty bobbin. It's an empty bobbin. I'm running out of bobbins. I've damaged a few of them. They kind of wear out over time. It's pretty normal. Also, I don't know how old this needle is, so I should probably swap to a new needle too. What kind of needle is this? My universal needle? What size do I think I'll need? For jeans, I think I'll use an 18. I don't have an 18 on this one. That's my leather needle. Where are my jean needles? I have jean needles. Those are my ballpoints. Oh, I only have one. I have two. Okay, where's my 18? Okay, there's 18. 18 needle. Right, got that. And then I need to get red thread, which I think is on the other side. That'll work. Okay, so for thread, tilt this up a little bit for you guys. All right, so for thread, never pull it all the way. Like don't, I have it run all the way down. Don't pull it up like that. You need to cut it right here. So cut it there, take this off, and then pull the thread, like lift this and pull the thread from the bottom. You don't ever want to pull your thread back up through the machine because then you end up getting too much dust in the top where the all of the gears and the rotating pieces are, and you want to avoid that. So don't do that. Get rid of this needle. There we go. Toss it. Okay. And then I need to run a bobbin. Now this thread's a little bit frayed. You cut the end of it, and that looks better. It's not as frayed. You need to get, there's a little tiny hole in here that you have to get the thread to so you can hold onto it to get a secure lock in. Come on, there we go. Okay. Put it up here, put that in there, and then where's my pedal? Where's my pedal? That's enough. I can release that. Sorry, it's gonna be loud. Alright, I have a bobbin. Now I have a red bobbin. Got a little bit of dust up here. I just want to clean that off. There. All right, now I need to run the thread through my machine. Okay. It's running through. I'm going to put this. And we're going to do a straight stitch. This centered. I think my needle point might be off. That's not good. I think I'm gonna have to go take this in because I'm noticing my needle is just a little bit off and it shouldn't be that far off. So that is an issue with my position. So it needs to be over here. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to read on the manual how to readjust my needle position because it's off. Always double check that. I recommend it. The needle position of my sewing machine is off. That would explain why I've had some problems lately with my zigzag stitch. Okay, so for this, I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it like this to where it has kind of like this little guy in here, like that, so that when I fold it down, it has a cleaner, crisper edge. All right. Throwing stuff on the ground. Okay, where's the wider part? So anytime you have bias, just so you know, there's always going to be one part that's a little bit wider and overlaps, and you'll want to make that the front part of your bias. Or the back, depending on how concerned you are with overlap. Alright, so I need to measure how much I need to get down this full piece. So, I want it to be square, so let's start here. Okay. like how that looks. Okay. All right. I think I'll sew it the other way. Let me get these. Ooh, I lost my footer. Okay. I actually don't need to worry about this. I thought I did, but I just realized that like no one's gonna see it because it's gonna be under the collar. All right. Now we're gonna start sewing. With 10 minutes to spare. While listening to what sounds like Italian music. Why not? Let's go. All right. All right. Why is it doing that? It should not be doing that. Hang on. There we go. Okay. I need to widen that. Let's do the tension a little bit stronger. All right. I might actually have to clip this, or normally I don't, but it's slipping too much. I don't want to, yeah, it's doing a curve that I don't like, so I need to get this in more. You very carefully remove this. Very carefully. So, oh, I see what happened. Okay. Seam ripping again because my thread did something weird right here. I should be able to fix it though. All right. That is so unusual. It got caught somehow in a weird place right here. Okay, so you can goof up. It happens. I goofed up a little bit right here. I'm just gonna swap bias for this one has a fold in it. I didn't notice, so I'm gonna go with the bias right off of my piece here, right off my spool. Hopefully, I have less of a problem. Okay. I don't like that piece of bias. That's no good. Okay, we're gonna go with this bias here, like this. I'm gonna start a little bit lower on the collar. So I'm noticing there's a little bit of a defect here. So I'm gonna go a little lower on the collar to make sure I have the proper alignment. There we go. That should work much better. So I'm gonna get that set first and then I'll get this lined up. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna fold this, get it completely pulled all the way in here, and we should be good now. Nice and slow. That fold. This is where it is. There's this little fold right here in the fabric that is gonna try to wreak havoc on my sewing. I'm gonna get past it. All right, and I got past the fabric defect. We should be good now. Okay, it's sewing beautifully now. Yay! Music is fun. There's a little pocket right here. Do not, no, let's not sew the pocket in. I would like to use the pocket. Okay. All right, so it's kind of curving now because it's coming to the end here. So let me see if I can take one of these legs. Kind of manipulate it. Stretch straight. All right, and now we're getting to the end here, so I'm going to cut it right about here. I think should be good. And then that way I will have, actually I need to cut a little bit higher. All right, we've almost finished attaching the bias for one side, and then I'll get the bias on the other side, and I think we'll be done for today. Oh, that's right, I have to fold this so that it doesn't fray. Oh, come on, let me fold you. Let me fold you. I got a little close to the edge before folding. Made a bad decision. Oh no. You know what? I'll just put fray check on the end of this. It's fine. Just put fray check on the end. We're good. Actually, I have an idea right now. So instead of fray check, what I can do, since this is supposed to have kind of like little okay. Yeah. Here we go. So we have successfully added bias to one side of the jacket. The bodysuit. It's a nice addition. Now we need to add more to the other side. So it's nice. Okay. Now let's add bias to the other side. We're going to have to start at the bottom this time. How long was this one? I want it to be the same length. So let me get the length on this. Okay. Perfect. All right, so now we're starting on the lower part. I'm just going to do the same thing where I'll fray check it so it matches its buddy. Do this. Okay. Start at the top. If I could start at the bottom, I can't. It'll be too difficult. So I'm going to be very careful. Just make sure that I sew as close to the edge as possible. Flip it inside out, sew it the other direction. Let's get this secured first. All right, it's secured, and now we're just going to sew up this rest of the side. I'm going to put most of the legs up here so that they aren't pulling on the fabric. And then get this tucked in. And let's go. Normally, when you're sewing things, you would do this before you put these pieces together so that I'm not having to manipulate this fabric so much. But I didn't make this from scratch, so I am having to manipulate the fabric a little bit to get it to. I'll have to do some more manipulation afterwards to fix the bottom part. That is it. All right. Okay, and we're done for today. I've added this. We're all set. Disconnect this for now. I'm going to move my light back up where it belongs so I can show you guys some things. Ooh. And let's see if I can successfully move my camera so I can show you what this looks like. Okay. Move the camera here. So we've got a jean bodysuit. It will go on like this. I'm only going to have a zipper that comes from here down. Let's see if you can see more. So from here down. But we have added, we've had success. This is good. Thank you so much for joining today. I look forward to seeing some of you in the future, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a good time and all of that stuff. I need to move my little Grogu. He's kind of in the way to put my camera back. So it was good talking to all of you. Great streaming with all of you, and have a wonderful day. Bye.